guys. Thank you so much for cruising in. I'm going to be doing a couple more StarCraft casts. I got a ZVZ, so let's get this game up and running. Should be a fun little game. It's Psistorm's NYK submitted this to me, so should be a lot of fun. So hopefully we'll get these games going. Switch that over. Okay, no camera. Just want to make sure that don't have to deal with that. All right, so spawning in our bottom right position, it is our red Zerg player from Psistorm Gaming. It is NYK. And spawning in our top left position, it is our blue Terran player from CloudM. It is TheLungy. And I believe I'm just going to call him Lungy for short. So NYK likes to send me his replays a lot just because he knows I want to make sure I keep casting and having good videos and good quality for you guys. So I appreciate thanks to him for always sending me good stuff. Always he always sends me really good matches, and it's always something to do with some crazy build or something. So hopefully we'll see what is going on. So far it's a pretty basic build, nothing too out of the order, nothing too wonky. Looks like he's gonna go gas before pool, so he went hatchery, then gas, then pool. Just a delayed pool. Just Reapers are gonna be coming up here in a second, but nothing too bad. You know, looks like Lungy is just gonna go for a quick Reaper opening just to get that scout off. Again, nothing too cheesy, nothing out of the ordinary from either players thus far. NYK is now does decide to drop the spawning pool. It's gonna be quite late, but he's got nothing to fear yet. These standard plays, unfortunately for with StarCraft, these standard play builds like so get kind of oh, faster, normal. Yeah, I want on a normal. Forget the default. Son of a biscuit. Let's just do fast. Let's just do faster. And my dropped frame rate is skyrocketing for some reason. I'm not too sure why. Here comes the Reaper across the map. It looks like NYK is going for the speedlings. Got a couple queens cooking as well. Let's see what kind of damage this Reaper does. There is going to be a couple lings to stop this. The Reaper is going to come in. He's going to try to focus down the drone. Does get a couple hits off it. The drone just kind of focuses down. Turns into, I think he was trying to get a roach warren, but does not get it. Micros him down to spore crawlers. And the Reaper gets pushed away with the lings. Lings are still trying to kite him around, and he cancels the spore crawlers and he saves all the drones. So this Reaper actually got 0 kills. It was more of an annoyance than anything. And the Lungy is actually going for a quick command center behind this. I think he thinks he's in such a good position, he's just going to try to be super greedy off this. This Reaper is being super more annoying, but thankfully this Queen is here to stop it. Stops it from going up the hill as well. So funny to see the Queens in the air like that. So we do see the factory switches out with the barracks and the reactor. So now 2 Hellions are going to come down from there. And here's some more Lings pushing the Reaper. Reaper's going to go up top, and there he goes. He's going to start trying. He's going to try to pick off that drone. He almost gets it, and the Reaper gets caught. The Queen finally finishes off that Reaper, and now here comes the Speedlings. Speedling upgrade is finished. 2 Hellions are up here guarding the Lungy's base, and NYK is going for his third. Doesn't have a lair yet. Does not tech into it yet. Has a little bit of gas saved up, which is good. Does his 2 Evo chambers, so it looks like he's going to try to go for some kind of roach timing. Again, doesn't have that layer upgrade, but this Overlord spots for NYK. I believe he spots, yep, he sees that in command center, so he knows that the Lungy is trying to go for that quick third. At least, now he just needs to put on the pressure. He needs to realize he needs to do something, do some kind of economical damage. And the Lungy is going to try to where is he going to try? Just try to branch out, maybe pick off any lings, hidden lings anywhere. But there's nothing on the map yet for NYK. NYK is now deciding to take up to his lair. Lings are trying to go across the map, kind of get in, but unfortunately does not get in. But it causes the Hellions to rush back because they know they need to defend like a boss. Lings are kind of over here in the corner. TheLungy has no idea where he's at. He's going to check NYK's third base, and he's going to spot it, and he's going to start doing some significant damage to it. There's no real roaches here on the map. There's only a couple, so he's out of position yet, but at the same time, Lungy is way caught off guard. Here comes some more Lings are going to come right in, and they're actually going to get in, and they're actually going to get this round off the Marines. He's going to take out all the Marines, and here comes another Ling, just going to go into the base, going to see as much as he can, sees the starport, sees the reactor, and he's going to try to focus down some SCVs, get any kind of damage. It's delayed money time. Unfortunately, doesn't get any kills, but he gets a lot of scouting and sees exactly what the tech is going to be. At the same time, NYK sends his roaches over to these Hellions, and the Hellions get picked off by the roaches. So great play. Wait, is it? Hmm. Okay. Well, the roaches do clear out those Hellions. Hellions get pushed back. Or Hellions went all the way back, sorry. Took some damage and then went back. Scan gets dropped from Lungy and goes, okay, you're on 3 bases. So now he knows I need to start muling down. I need to start tagging up. Really need to get the ball rolling because I am still behind. But at the same time, NYK needs to realize that he is now on par with his Terran counterpart. So he needs to either get some damage going or get some bases going. So he sees this army coming across. So he starts morphing in some Ravengers. Here it comes. This roaches are going to just collide with these Hellions, with these Marines, and it's going to push back this entire army. But NYK sees the medevac, does not want to get caught off guard, does not want to get split like he's doing. These Hellions are going to go in for a quick run by. NYK is so smart, sends half his roaches one side, the other half to. Looks like he's going to send those roaches to his main because he knows there might be a drop coming. So NYK is playing super smart. Here comes a huge drop. It's filled with Marines, just multiple Marines, and these roaches are going to be here to stop this. His queen is going to try to pick off this medevac. At the same time, the roaches are just chasing the medevac. There he goes, drops the marines, and these roaches are going to clear it up. But at the same time, there's a medevac's drop in the third, and the Ravager corrosive bile knocks out the medevac. At the same time, NYK picks off the second medevac. What a good pickup from NYK. Just super smart defensive. Sent half his roaches into his main. At the same time, sent his Ravagers into his third and was able to pick off the medevac. Good play from NYK. TheLungy finished his +1 range damage, +1 armor. And he's sitting pretty mightily on his 3 bases at this time. NYK does decide to take his 4th base. Decided to take his 4th base, and NYK decides to take his 4th base from this. And there's another huge bio push coming from TheLungy. And at the same time, NYK is going for his infestor, so he's going to try to go for those fungal growths. There's just to stop it. The Overseer gets in and sees how much of a bio push this actually is. And here's a fake Marine, the chainling, and sees, okay, you have tanks, you have Marines, you have a single Hellbat. He just knows, he goes, I just need to get a couple good fungals off this, and he should have this fight. Here he goes. He goes on top of it, focuses down the Hellbat, focuses down the tank, and here's a bunch of Marines. Corrosive Biles lands on top of the back end of it, gets a couple of good hits, but these Marines are stemming forward. He's actually picking off a lot of these Ravagers. Almost the entire army gets cleaned up. Roaches are coming in from the south side as well, trying to focus down the rest of the Lungy. Lungy cleans up as much as he can, but gets he actually gets everything just completely mopped up, and it's a good counterattack, or at least a good push from NYK, sends a lot of his roaches in. But here's another huge bio army from TheLungy, waiting for NYK to, kind of overcommit, and which he kind of does a little bit. Have more roaches playing on the field. This +1, excuse me, +2 range is finishing from NYK. So this range damage from the roaches are going to do a lot of damage right now, and the Carapace is kind of finishing up a little bit, but not too far. What does he now do? Oh, he's teching into Hive. So the Hive upgrade is going to be here. So it looks like he's going to try to go into those Ultra Scaven. Corrosive Bile lands on the tank, gets a little bit of damage, but with a scan, he clears out all this creep. And that tank is doing a lot of damage. More corrosive biles landing on the tank, gets a little damage, but nothing else. This tank is still surviving. NYK needs to hold on like he's never held on before. He's got a good bank. He just needs the units to be out. He needs to get infestors into this army as well. He's just kind of behind in the way of just army supply. So more corrosive biles landing, gets a little bit of tank, does pick off one tank, which is a great pickoff, but at the same time, this is a bottleneck. Here comes another tank into play. And now it's with the vision. Here comes Lungy trying to push the objective, push forward. He's going to clear out overlords, clear out the vision. And here comes a swell of lings, swell of roaches and corrosive bile ravengers trying to focus down the back end of the army when they retreat. There's a lot of medevacs, but not that much units. This tank gets picked up with about half HP remaining. Lungy is pushing the objective even more. This tank is doing great suppressive fire on top of the vision of this hill. And NYK, like I said before, just needs to hold on. He's got nothing in his gas. He's kind of falling behind in the way of tech. And he does have a +3 option. However, behind his Lungy is going for his +3. And once these Marines Marauders get that, these roaches are going to fall very quickly. These Ravens are going to fall very quickly because they're just so far behind. More roaches are coming in, and an Overseer's coming in just to get more vision. And NYK is just kind of falling behind. He's got no gas to speak of. He really needs to get some good engagements. The corrosive bow, almost all of them landing on completely nothing, and more Marines are getting pushed through. And the Lungy is doing such a good job pushing this objective. He needs to get up here. He needs to completely clear out this army. Finally, NYK gets some gases going, but he's just so far behind. The army count is kind of in favor of NYK. However, these tanks are doing such a good job of zoning out this army, and these Marauders are doing such a good job of picking off these roaches. More corrosive biles are going to land it. Looks like they've pushed on top of the Marines, and they finally take out that tank, but there's still one more tank in this army, and he's got another tank in production, but he's supply capped at the moment. Oh, no, he's not. What is he doing? Oh, there he goes. Finally, but the +2 carapace is finishing up from the finishing up NYK. The great pick off from the Lungy picks off this tank, and it looks like this entire bio army does get finally cleared up. The corrosive bio finishes up the medevac that was holding the tank, and the Lungy gets pushed all the way back to his base. At the same time, NYK's army is just going to be significantly weaker when this +3 finishes. NYK needs to do a lot of damage here while they're on the same upgrades. +3 is almost going to finish for the Lungy, and the Lungy looks like he's getting his army completely mopped up here, but NYK might be pushing the objective just a little too much. He might be overextending here. And on top of this, he looks like he's winning this fight, but there's so many Vedimax. The Marauders are here. There's a tank in the background. The tanks are going to get focused down by these roaches. Medevac is going to pick up the tank, pick up and just kind of leapfrog it, but there's more roaches getting stormed across the map. And I don't know if the Lungy could hold this. He has the tank, but his 3-3 is about to finish. 3-3 is about to finish, on top of which the Zerg army does not even have a +2 for the Carapace, and doesn't even have a +3 for the range. So this is just a huge defense from the Lungy. The Lungy is going to get the 3-3 finish, on top of which these Ultralists are finally in queue, on top of the extra armor from the Ultralists. So these Ultralists are going to be super beefy, but at the same time, they only has +2 Carapace, and that's not even done yet. And the melee upgrade is just now finishing, or now starting for NYK, but from behind this, NYK takes 2 bases at the same time, and the Lungy, with the Planetary Fortress, takes his 4th base. But, is it a little too late to take this 4th base? We see that he's floating in a lot of gases, but not too much on the income wise. Let's take a look at the income. As we can see, we'd see it's a significant income, but with the Zerg, but just look at that difference. I mean, the mules are definitely helping out a lot, but NYK is going to have those extra bases here in a second. He's going to kind of be swimming in the money, hopefully soon. Now both armies are just kind of reteching back up. The 3 of 3 is finished for Lungy, and the freak is that? Oh, that's Liberator Range. Sorry, that took me a quick second to realize the name of that. It's so dumb that they don't show but at the same time, probably should know this. So here we go. So there's a plus. So the upgrade for Ultralisk, the armor is finished, but as you can see, it's the +3 carapace from melee or from ground units is not finished. So that's why it's the +6, but 0 melee upgrade for the weapon. So here comes some Liberators into this army, and they're going to spot these drones, and so they're going to see that there's a base here, and they're going to start sieging that base up, and they're going to be like, okay, I need to clear that base out. The liberation mode, the liberation freedom mode, however you want to call it. Essentially, they're siege tanks for the air. So they're finally, but the Ultralists know they cannot push that objective. They cannot push forward with that. And so the +3 armor is not even halfway done. The melee upgrade is almost done. And here's some corrosive biles. These Ultralists are getting on top of this army. And here comes the Liberators. It needs to get in some liberation mode to stop this army. But this army is pushing across the map on top of Lungy. They're knocking on his back door. And NYK is pushing the direction. Corrosive bile is going to launch, going to land on top of these gets one Liberator, which is a good hit, but the Liberator's facing the wrong direction. They're facing forward. They need to turn around and face the other way. Their range is not that great, so here we go more. So they're in Liberation mode, so the NYK's army really needs to push past these Liberators and get out of these white circles. And they do, but there's so many Liberators. The Spire is now finishing up for NYK, and he needs to get as much Corruptors as he can to get these Liberators out of the air. That's what's going to turn the tides for this army. NYK needs to push his army all the way back, and we see that he's not even fully gassed up. But the Terran army, look how much gas he has. He has so much in the bank. And we see the 6 Liberators just sieging up, Liberation mode. Here we go, on top of this ramp. There's such a bottleneck. He needs to get out of this. NYK is just pushing this, or needs to defend this at the same time. Needs to get those Liberators out. Got 3 Corruptors finally finishing up. And it looks like the 3 armor is finishing up for this evolution chambers right here at the front. If the Lungy sees that it's upgrading and stops, that'll be a huge thing to stop these Ultralists from being super beefy. More Corruptors are being queued in. Curse of Bile landing on top of the Liberators. There's only 3 Liberators left. Once these Liberators get dropped, these Marines are going to have a bad day, especially with these Corruptors. Okay, finally the army is getting pushed in with the Corruptors landing on top of the Liberators. Liberators are getting cleaned up. These Corruptors are going unanswered. And that's it. The last little bit of the Liberators get mopped up, and this entire army from the Lungy is pushed back. And unfortunately, he was not able to do any more damage. Corruptors finish up the Liberators. And that is it. There is no more Liberators on the map for the Lungy. Lungy just has his bio armor. His bio armor is 3 of 3, which is equivalent to Ultralists. The Ultralists don't do that much damage, but they're tanky. It's the Roaches and the Ravagers that have the damage, and these Ultralists are the ones that are just there for the tank. So these Corruptors are going to come in. I think they're going to just try to focus it down something. Maybe they're going to go after the Medivacs. Here comes the Ultralist, getting kind of pretty much mopped up here. Some more Liberators are out, and the Corruptors are just going to make quick work of them. Focus it down. There's 2 more Liberators left, and there's a little bit of Medivacs. But NYK just needs to have this. He needs to get queued up. He needs to get something going. There's a secret base from the Lungy over here. This is the Lungy's 5th base, while NYK is technically on 6 bases, but his 6th base is nowhere near saturated. Not even at all. Not even a little bit. When we go to, let's see, we'll go to work count. It's pretty dead even, but you have to remember at the same time that the Lungy gets his mules, and that looks like his saving grace. He's just trying to dropping mules as often as he can. Both, both armies are getting kind of beefier at the moment. The +2 melee is kind of finishing up a little bit for NYK, but he's super far behind. Here we go. He's going to kind of zone out this area right here. And the Corruptors need to come in and do some damage. Here we go. The Corruptors coming in, landing on top of all the Liberators. Corrosive Bile on top of these tanks, on top of this Bile. Takes out all the Medivacs. It looks like all the Medivacs are about to drop here. Last little bit of Liberators get finished up. There's 2 more here. Corruptors are trying to focus down the Liberators, and these Roaches, Ravagers, and Ultralists are just tearing apart this Bile army. And that looks like the last little bit of the Lungy. He's not going to be able to do much on top of this. He's going to be able to break down the wall. NYK is focusing down the wall. As you can see, the Lungy's 5th base is going unanswered. And I don't know what NYK is going to do. He's completely maxed out. He's going to take out this wall, stop the bottleneck. And they're going to try to focus down that last little Ultralist. They're going to be able to get it here in a second. And he just try to kite him about. The Corrosive Bile landing on top of the Medivacs almost clears out the Medivacs. But there's just so much Bile army left here from NYK. He just needs to, he's pushing the objective even more. And the Lungy is pushing forward, but he has no Liberators for the support. The Ultralists are going to come down right in front and going to do as much AoE as they can. The Roaches are just focusing down the Bile army. The Corrosive Bile here is going to land here in a second. And this Bile army is getting mopped up. It looks like there's just too much here for NYK. And the Lungy GG taps out. and that is a game from NYK and just shows the progressiveness and just the word I am looking for is tenacity of NYK. He's just so aggressive, so just on top of it, just going after them one after another, after another, after another, and he just ultimately just controlled the map, even though there was, a lot of bio army knocking on his door. He played calm. He didn't panic. He didn't overcommit. He just um, countered really well. He was running low on gas, so that's why we see he has a significant amount of lings. He's building almost 40 lings. So, thanks guys for cruising in. I'm going to be doing another game here shortly from NYK, and I'll be putting them out to YouTube. So make sure you guys follow the Twitch, follow Twitter, follow YouTube, all that good stuff. Thanks guys. I'll be back shortly.